Happy Sunday, you guys. Welcome back. It is Z, and of course, you guys know my husband, Charles. And if you don't know, today is Sunday. We are doing our Costco run. We have our 18-month in the back, who I think he's taking a little nap, so we thought this was a perfect time to do a video. And so Charles and I were talking, and we said, let's talk a little bit about what has us stressed this week, and maybe end on a positive note and talk about maybe what we're excited about. So do you want to go first, Charles?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's start off a little bit with what's got you a little bit tight this past week.
So Z's been telling me this week that I've been kind of a negative Nelly. Maybe she's right. I feel like my stress level is kind of up here. So one of the things that we have going that's stressing us out is our au pair, our live-in child helper. The one we have now, she's getting ready to leave on October 16th. It's the end of her program here. And we've talked to another young lady who's coming from Colombia, and we've worked with her for months coming over, and she's gone in for her visa appointment, and her visa has been administratively delayed, and there's no explanation for it. And so, we looked onto Reddit, and apparently there's been similar administrative delays for visas for a lot of people from certain countries. And so, we're worried because she was supposed to come on September 26th. And now the agency's moved her arrival date to October 10th, but they don't even really know if she's going to be able to travel on October 10th. And the U.S. Visa folks down there in Colombia don't really give an excuse as to why there's a delay. It's just said there's an administrative delay and really no expectation as far as when it's going to be processed.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, we have 3 kiddos. We have an 18-month-old son, we have a 7-year-old daughter, and we have an 8-year-old son. And we're both full-time workers. I'm a primary care doctor. Charles is an actuary. And Charles works from home, and he has a little bit more flexibility, but he still has a lot of responsibilities with his job. So a lot of times when there's a gap with our childcare, he takes it upon himself to fill that role, right? So something that I know definitely stresses him out. And granted, I know it's a first world problem, but we do rely on external childcare to assist us. We just don't have a lot of extended relatives or grandparents who are in the position who are able to assist us with the childcare. So I think it's definitely something now that we've been talking about. What are the alternative options? We're hoping that she will still be able to come, because the young lady that we were interviewing, we really, really liked her, and we thought she would really work well with our children. But I don't know, I get the feeling that it might be difficult or a prolonged process, to say the least.
Which, by the way, if you're in a situation where you have kids and you have grandparents where you can just drop your kids off at the grandparents' house and go off and do your thing for a little bit, do not take that for granted.
Do not.
That is worth its weight in gold.
That is. Until I became a parent, that's when I realized that. So that's one thing. I think it's a little bit both of us, but I know definitely Charles has been weighing on. For me, in addition to that, I'd probably say what's going on in the world, right? I wouldn't get too detailed, but sometimes you get on your phone and you see a headline and your hands are tied. You wondered, how do you make the change that you want to see, right? And especially having children, certain things just concerns me. And so we've been talking a lot, how do we help, mold or allow our children to flourish in a world that sometimes can be a little hostile. So we've been having some deep conversations on, giving our children certain experiences and trying to surround them by certain individuals to make sure that they're kind, whole individuals. And I think I'm trying to really focus in on that. And while I like to be someone who's in the know, right, I also want to protect my mental sanity, for lack of a better, for lack of better words there. So I think that's something that had me a little bit in the trenches, but I'm trying to focus on the positive, and how I conduct myself on a day-to-day. So that's one thing.
And I think that's going to be the topic of another video that we're going to put out really soon, because I've been doing a lot of thinking about our family, and we have 2 white children and we have 1 black child, and about the dynamics and the different ways that we need to focus on things with, depending on the types of experiences our children are going to face individually, based off of their race and how they're going to have to interact with the world today.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about a little bit about what makes you excited?
What makes me excited? Okay, so I am super excited because we just this morning signed a contract to build our new house.
That's mine too. So tell me, what about, well, I get it, it's a new house, but give me more details. What in particular has you excited about that? Because it's been also a little bit of a stress to you also.
Yeah.
I think, and a side note, I think that's been a little added stress for Charles, because he helps as far as with, I guess the accounting or the financial aspect of where the finances are coming from, transfers and things like that. We both work, but he kind of deals with the, financial.
I move the money around and
the
stuff.
financial logistics of it all. He helps with. I'm super excited about that too. But anyway, continue. I hopped in on that.
Yeah. So this is an adventure that we started on a little while ago. I've owned the house that we currently live in since 2017, and then Z moved in 2022. 23. There we go. Wow, time flies. And ever since then, we've been plotting to buy a house together, and so this is something that we've been really, I would say, working on since 2023, more earnest within the last 4 or 5 months, and we finally determined that the best thing for us to do is to build a house, because our situation is a little bit unique. We have an older generation family member living with us. My dad lives in a second house on the back of our property right now, and so trying to find something to accommodate that is a little bit difficult. But we were able to do it with new construction. And so we're currently going to have a house built in a master plan community with a home builder that allows you to do a lot of custom things, and they've accommodated our need for a second unit, or actually kind of a second wing on our house for my dad. So that's great.
Yeah, and that was mine too. And as Charles was saying, he's owned a home before, right? And the home that we live in, he owned prior to our marriage. And this will be my first time buying a home. And I thought it was really important for us as a family, for us to buy something together, for Charles and I to buy something together. And with the addition of our little one, we need a little bit more space. I thought it was important that we have a space not only for our little one to have a larger room, but also for us to have a guest room for visitors, right? A full guest room where they would feel comfortable. And so it's been exciting, definitely, but it's also been stressful, as many of you can imagine, with trying to find one that fits our financial budget, that has the floor plan and the space that we would like. And so with working and children, trying to find the time to look things over, it's been exciting but a little bit stressful. But this morning when we finally signed the contract, I finally felt like, okay, we're here now. I know that the building process is still going to have its bumps in the road, but I feel like we've finally settled in and got past some of the back and forth with the builder, and we have a clear path or somewhat clear path in front of us where we're going to. So that has me really excited. And I think I'm excited about choosing like the colors for, the kitchen cabinets, the countertops, the floors. I've already started my Pinterest boards with, what kind of furniture I want in the home. So those things are really making me excited. Landscaping, all the things I think really, really makes me, it's really, really making me excited. So I'm excited about that new start or new journey that we're on.
And I'm excited that we don't have to lay in bed at 10 o'clock at night looking at houses on our phones anymore.
Well, now it's changed because now we're going to lay in bed and I ask him a billion times which couches he prefer. And it's like 20,000 cream couches, but there's all subtle differences. And he's been pretty good. I think I've been stressing him out a little bit, but I think he's been doing good, right? He's been tolerating some of my requests. So
she's very nice to me because, as a guy, well, I guess some guys are more into that stuff than others, but for me, my questions are, do we have a nice big bedroom to sleep in? Do I have a place to work out? Do I have a place to plug in my computer?
Yeah, so it's pretty true. Well, anyway, you let us know down below what you guys are excited about this week, and maybe what kind of stressed you out this week. We're curious to know. And if you have any feedback or comments for us, we are excited to hear that. Okay. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.